Hello dear students, welcome back again to Chinmoy's YouTube channel. So till now I have already posted 2 lessons on transpiration. So this is the part 3. So in the previous 2 episodes I have already posted what is transpiration, what is evaporation, what is the main difference between transpiration, evaporation, and what are the types of transpiration, that is stomatal, cuticular and lenticular transpiration. Now in yesterday's video I have already posted important 5 experiments of transpiration. So please do go through it, whatever I have posted. And today's brand new episode we are going to discuss about the factors affecting the rate of transpiration and how plants are getting adapted to reduce the excessive transpiration, what is guttation, what is bleeding, and what is the significance of transpiration. So let us start with today's brand new episode of transpiration. So by the end of today's lesson, what you will know the factors which are affecting the rate of transpiration, what are the adaptation in plants to reduce the transpiration, what is the significance of transpiration, and what is guttation and bleeding. So if you want to know all regarding transpiration and all other lessons of 10th biology, you need to subscribe to my channel. So please do subscribe to my channel quickly to get a systematic update of all the lessons which I am posting regularly and as per your curriculum in the form of notes, as well as with the diagrams which are properly labeled and with a description of each and every topic. So try to subscribe to my channel and please do share as much as you can to reach so that I can reach all your friends also, and I can teach my lessons in this way only. So if you are liking my lessons, don't forget to write in my comment box, and your questions or queries also you should write there so that I can answer in the next episode. So let us start with today's lesson of transpiration. So here comes the factors affecting the rate of transpiration. So first comes the main factor, that is humidity. So how we will discuss this, how this transpiration is being affected by humidity. Now the humidity of the atmosphere, it is affecting the rate of diffusion of water vapor. So water vapor is diffusing out. So lower the humidity, higher will be the rate of transpiration, because if the high humidity is already present in the air, the rate of outward diffusion of water vapor from the stomatal, substomatal cavity will reduce. Okay, so already the air is humid, already the air is full of moisture, so it reduces the rate of outward diffusion of water from the substomatal pores or cavities, and this reduces the rate of transpiration. So we can say that humidity is inversely proportional to transpiration. So more the humidity, lower will be the transpiration, and higher the transpiration, the lower the humidity, the higher will be the transpiration. So it's an inversely proportional thing. Now next comes the temperature. So what about the temperature? The high temperature, if the temperature is very high, the water loss from the aerial parts of the plant will be more. So it is providing the latent heat for vaporization. So more the temperature, more will be the rate of transpiration. And the rise of temperature also increases the evaporation of water, while the low temperature, it reduces the evaporation. So this is a general idea you all know, right? Now next comes the intensity of light. So intensity of light, how it is affecting? So light is affecting the rate of transpiration indirectly. So more transpiration occurs during the day, and stomata opens during the day, and thus transpiration occurs more during the day. So it is indirectly affecting the transpiration process also. So during night, as the stomata, they become flaccid and they close, the rate of transpiration is minimal. So in this way, the intensity of light is also affecting transpiration. So how, the next point, that is the air movement, how it is affecting, or the velocity of wind. Now how it is affecting transpiration? Now the rate of transpiration increases always with the increase in the wind speed. So more the wind speed, more the gushing of the wind, this speeds up the diffusion of water from the stomata. So more the velocity of the wind, more will be the rate of transpiration. Now some plants, like in dry conditions, xerophytes and all those who are in desert conditions, some plants which are xerophytes who are all in desert condition, what happens? They have folded leaf structure or epidermal hair, which helps to retain the moist air around the stomata. So there are plants which are having folded leaf or shrunken leaves, which are preventing the evaporation of water loss or moist air into the dry atmosphere by by the creating they are retaining the moisture around the folded leaves or the epidermal hair, which is helping to retain the moisture, okay, to prevent transpiration. Now next to this comes the atmospheric pressure. So how this atmospheric pressure is related to transpiration? So decrease, when there is a decrease in atmospheric pressure, there is always an increase in the rate of transpiration. So whenever the decrease in atmospheric pressure, the diffusion of water vapor from the stomata, it always increases, okay, and lower the atmospheric pressure, the greater will be the rate of evaporation of the leaves, from the leaves, right? So the rate of transpiration increases with the decrease of atmospheric pressure, that is, it is inversely proportional to the atmospheric pressure. When the atmospheric pressure increases, the rate of transpiration decreases, and when the atmospheric pressure decreases, the rate of transpiration increases. Now next comes the carbon dioxide concentration. Now if the carbon dioxide concentration, it is generally how much in our environment? It is 0.03%. So if the concentration of carbon dioxide increases more than the normal, the stomata gets closed. So this reduces the rate of transpiration, okay. So as the carbon dioxide concentration is increasing above the normal, the stomata are getting closed, and this reduces the rate of transpiration. Now next comes the water supply to the leaves. Now shortage of water in the soil affects the water supply. So always the water supply to the leaf is very much important. So if the region is dry, there is no water supply to the soil, the leaf will not get water, and in turn the stomata, they close and the leaf wilts. So this reduces the rate of transpiration. So it is directly proportional. If the water supply is less, the evaporation is less, as there is no adequate water present in the leaves to evaporate. So leaves have become dry and they have wilted, so they don't have the water to evaporate from the aerial part. So there is a scarcity of water. So this is how the water supply is affecting the transpiration. And last is the leaf structure. It is very important. So the shape of the leaf and the number and the position of the stomata, always they are influencing the water loss. So you can see that in plants which are having broad based leaf, they are having more transpiration. So the larger surface area, it will help in more water evaporation, loss of water evaporation. Now in xerophytes or desert plants, you have seen that the cuticle is very thick and there is negligible loss of water, because they need to preserve water. If they keep on losing water in that dry climate, it will be very difficult for the plant to produce their own food. So they need water for photosynthesis also, and the leaves can't get a continuous supply of water in those dry regions. So they have a thick cuticle, which is their adaptation actually, to prevent the loss of water. And on the other hand, in shady plants, leaves which have a large surface area and a thin cuticle, so they are having loss of water, and this loss of water is causing more transpiration. So now we will move on to the adaptations, or how the plants are getting adapted to reduce excessive transpiration. So what are the adaptations to reduce transpiration? So let us see one by one what are the adaptations. So first we can see that the stomata may be sunken or it may be covered by hair, as in oleander leaf. Okay, so here you see the stomata, they are all covered with hairs. So these pores are covered with hairs, so that the transpiration rate is reduced. So if it is open without hairs, the transpiration rate will be much higher. Okay, now next comes in xerophytes, that is the desert plants, the number of stomata may be reduced, as like in cactus it is less, so that the transpiration rate is under control. Now we can see that leaves may become narrow to reduce the leaf surface area, as in nerium and pine. So nerium and pine, their leaf surface area has been reduced as the leaves have become narrow. Okay, this is one adaptation of the plant. So they are making the leaves narrow to reduce the surface area. Their number of stomata is being reduced in xerophytes. Now they have a sunken stomata or covered with hair, as in oleander leaf. Now another thing is that leaves may roll over or fold to reduce the exposed surface and maintain the moisture around the stomata, as in desert grass. So the leaves may roll over or fold to reduce the exposed surface area. Okay, so more the surface area, more will be the loss of water. So they are rolling them to reduce the surface area to maintain the moisture around the stomata. So there are much more adaptations to reduce transpiration. So let us move on to the next one. So this is a continuation of the previous slide only, where we are talking about the adaptations to reduce the excessive transpiration. So what is happening here? There may be very few leaves on the plant, such as in acacia. So if the number of leaves reduce, the rate of loss from the external parts of the leaves will reduce. Now the leaves may have thick cuticle, like as in mango. So more the cuticle is thicker, the less will be the rate of transpiration, because the cuticle is preventing the leaves or water from the leaves to get evaporated or diffused into the atmosphere. So the leaves may have thick cuticle as in mango to prevent the water loss. Now most evergreen trees have thick cuticle to prevent the transpiration as in banyan. So evergreen trees, they are mainly having thick cuticle to prevent the transpiration as in the banyan plant. So these are all the basic adaptations, and these are very easy actually. Once you go through this, you will understand that what are the adaptations, and with examples I have told you in acacia, in oleander leaf, in nerium and pine, in xerophytes like cactus. So these are the adaptations generally made by the plants themselves only to prevent the loss of water during transpiration. So let us see what is the significance of transpiration. So here comes the significance of transpiration. So what is the significance of transpiration? First, we will concentrate on this ascent of sap. So what is ascent of sap? Transpiration, as it is helping in the ascent of sap. How? Due to the suction of water force and the pull created by loss of water. So as the water loss is happening from the aerial plants, there is an urge to pull water from the roots. So as the water is evaporating from the leaves, a suction force is developed as on the top of the plant, which is drawing more and more water from the soil through the roots and stem. So this is how it is helping the ascent of sap. So transpiration is helping in the ascent of sap. Now, how is removal of excess water happening? So plant is absorbing far more amount of water than is actually required. So plants are requiring water for the process of photosynthesis and other processes. So as it is absorbing far more amount of water required, so excess amount of water, what it is done? So excess amount of water is removed. So removal of excess water from the plant body, which has been taken or absorbed by the root during this absorption process. Okay, so this is the second one, very important one, removal of excess water. Now third comes the cooling effect. So what is the cooling effect? Now solar heat during the summers, trees are too much heated. As the temperature increases, so it is very much dangerous for the plants if the temperature of the plant body also increases. So transpiration, it is a loss of water from the body. So it helps the plants to reduce the temperature of the leaf or the surface temperature by the evaporation of water vapor. Okay, so this in turn cools the plant. So how we are also sweating in summer, so that loss of water or evaporation from the body helps us to cool our body. So we are drinking more water and the excess water is being evaporated in the form of sweat. So this evaporation cools our body. Like that only, this cooling effect is also there in plants, where they are being cooled by the process of transpiration. Now next comes the distribution of minerals. So how this is happening, how this function is related to transpiration? Now in transpiration, the leaf surface, it is drawing water from the lower parts of the root of the plant. Okay, so this rising column of sap or from the soil, it is consisting of many mineral salts. So water in the soil is being dissolved with many mineral salts. So the mineral salts are distributed to all parts of the plants. Okay, so like this, the distribution of mineral salts are being uh, throughout the plant due to this process of transpiration. So this is all about the significance of transpiration. We know water is taken from the roots, then it is passed through the stem to the leaves, and thus it moves to the leaves and the transpiration is happening. And these are the main four important significance of transpiration: ascent of sap, removal of water, cooling effect, and distribution of mineral salts. Okay, so this is all. Now we will come with the last and most important one. We should know that guttation and bleeding. So let us continue. Now guttation. So what does this term guttation means? Guttation is a Latin word. Okay, it's a Latin word, and this term gutta means drop. So how it is relating to this term guttation? Let us see that. So we have seen actually in the morning, early morning, if we get up, we see that droplets of water are there on the tip of the leaves or on the surface of the leaves. We have seen that. So what is guttation? Guttation is the exudation of water droplets on the leaf margin. So what is guttation? It is the exudation of water droplets on the leaf margins. Such as banana, we can see it is growing in especially warm and humid conditions. If you see a banana leaf in the morning, you will see the droplets of water around the margins is there because the condition is very hot, very humid. So this loss of water in the form of droplets. So water droplets, when loss of water in the form of droplets from the margins of the leaf of certain plants during hot and humid conditions is known as guttation or exudation. Okay, so how it is caused? It is actually caused due to root pressure. So it is actually caused due to root pressure. So how root pressure is helping it? So when the rate of respiration is not so high at night, it is low in plants. So the roots of some plants keep on accumulating minerals and absorbing this water. So what is happening? Because the transpiration rate has dropped at night, the stomatas have already closed due to the flaccid condition. So this water, it enters the leaves and then it is transpired. So this water, excess of water is forced out through some specialized structures on the margins of the leaves. So these margins of the leaves, they are having specialized structures called the hydrathodes. Okay, so these are having specialized structures called the hydrathodes. So through the leaf margins, these hydrathodes, they are releasing out the excess water. So these hydrathodes are releasing out excess water. So what they are doing, they are releasing out excess water, and this process of releasing water in the form of droplets from the margins of the leaves in certain plants in hot and humid conditions is called guttation. So let us see what are hydrathodes in details. Okay, let us see what are hydrathodes. So here comes the hydathode term, what we have told in the previous one. Just let us have a quick recap of this hydathode thing. So what is a hydathode? It is a type of pore which is commonly found in angiosperms, okay, that secretes water through the pores in the epidermis or the leaf margin. So it is secreting water. It is typically at the tip of the marginal tooth or serration, okay. Now more water enters the leaves than transpired. So the excess water which is stored in the leaf, which is not transpired, as a result the excess water is forced out through these specialized structures on the margins of the leaves, which are called hydathodes. So after transpiration also in the leaves, there is amount of water left which should be released, which should be given out. So it is forced out from the leaves through these special pores called the hydathodes. Okay. Now they are connected to the plant vascular system by a vascular bundle. So they are connected to the plant vascular system through the vascular bundle. Now hydathodes, what are these? These are commonly seen in water lettuce, water hyacinth, rose, balsam and many other species of plants. They are having these hydathodes. So this is a special structure which is found at the epidermis or the leaf margin. So is it clear to all? Now we will move on to the last part, that is guttation and bleeding. Now this bleeding part, what is it? Now during an injury, now you can see this diagram. See, you can see a plant from which red something like blood is coming out as if bleeding is happening. So during injury to a certain part of the plant, the plant sap which escapes or bleeds from the ruptured or cut surface of the plant. So this is brought about by the root pressure generated by the plant. So the cut of the plant through which it bleeds, or the cut surface of the plant, the ruptured part of the plant, it gives out the plant sap which escapes from the plant. So this is called bleeding. So this is here only we are completing this full lesson of transpiration, which all its experiments, definitions, differences and diagrams. So the last topic was this guttation and bleeding. So it's also completed. So if you want to learn more in your curriculum, as per your curriculum, you should subscribe to my channel, and next lesson is photosynthesis. Now one homework I'll be giving to you, that is you should write the difference between transpiration and guttation. So please write it on your own. So if I get a chance to discuss this transpiration and guttation difference in any one of the lessons, I'll do that surely. So your homework is that write the difference between guttation and transpiration. So you should write the difference between transpiration and guttation. Okay, so this is your homework. Please write it down. As I have explained all the factors of transpiration, I have already discussed about transpiration and evaporation difference. So you are about to write the difference between transpiration and guttation. So it's your homework. Write it down. If you are unable to write it, write in my comment box. What are your queries? What are your doubts? And please do subscribe to my channel, because I am already coming up with many more lessons on photosynthesis and what are the coming lessons coming forward, whatever you are there, whatever is there as per your ICSE curriculum. So I am following that. So please stay tuned and keep on checking my updates, which I am posting quite regularly. Okay, thank you.